Hello, hello, for those of you all who are joining us. And okay, we have one more. We're at 90%, we're at 93% voting. 92%, who's the holdout there? We have one more, yes. Let's see. We have one more person. So for those of the person who just joined us, welcome, welcome. We're starting off with a poll, just so that we can get a read on who is joining us today, what your year is, what some of your career goals are. Please also use the question and answer feature at the bottom of the screen. All righty. And okay, so we're at 97. We got one more. Okay. And we're going to close the poll out. Thank you so much for participating in that. Let's see what we got. All right, so we have a good number of seniors here, which is amazing. Awesome. And that's awesome because I first worked with Saró when she was a senior at Columbia 2 years ago. We also have a great number of alums, so that's awesome. So we have an absolute even split between our Chicago-based folks and our LA-based folks. So that's awesome. We're going to talk about that. And we do primarily have people who identify as directors or assistant directors. Very cool. So this is awesome. I'm going to share the results with you all. So you all are in the right place. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I am Chaka Reeves. I am the career and internship advisor for our cinema and television art students. We are so excited to have Saró Melero Bonnin with us, and also our student host and student leader, Anthony Fuentes. This is a part of our summer build-up series, and we have more events coming up for you. I'll make sure that I drop those in the chat and plug those before we close out today. I see some of you are also making great use of our question and answer section, so please continue to put those questions in. After Saró and Anthony's conversation, we're going to make sure that we get to your questions. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Anthony Fuentes.
Thank you, Chaka. So as she said, my name is Anthony Fuentes. I am a senior cinema and television arts student focusing on directing, producing, and assistant directing. My pronouns are he, him, his, originally from Michigan, now living in Chicago. And I'm super lucky and excited to have Saró Melero Bonnin with us today. Saró, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Chaka. Thank you, Anthony. My name is Saró Melero Bonnin. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am an assistant director, UPM, and producer. I'm originally from born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and now I've been living in Chicago for 6 years now. Graduated from Columbia back in 2018, and I've just been here furthering my creative career in Chicago. Just to tell you a little bit about what I've done in the past, I've worked in TV shows like Shameless, The Shy, Batwoman. I've done music videos for artists like Migos, Vic Mensa, Taylor Bennett, Jamila Woods, Omar Apollo, Tatiana Hazel, Feline, a bunch of others. I've done commercials for brands like Google and Viacom and Coors Light, Corona, a lot of other lovely brands. And I also dwell in fashion films as well. I'm in the works for one for Ida Birthing right now. I've worked with brands like Holy Thrift and Cloyna, and I've done over 80 short films and 6 feature films with an AD position.
Wow. Very impressive. So can you tell me why you decided to join the industry? I know that your parents have their own production company, so that's quite a legacy that they have. So can you tell us a little bit about what that was like growing up?
Absolutely, yeah. So my dad is a DP and my mom is a producer, and they actually started the first production company back in Puerto Rico back in the 80s, and they're still going. They do mainly commercials, and I was just born and raised on a set, essentially. I was on set all the time with my parents, and I just loved the energy. I loved the environment. I loved seeing so many people come together for one exact goal. That was such a beautiful thing for me as I was growing up, you know, and like, I was fascinated by that. And when I turned about 16, I really decided that like, okay, this is what I really want to do with my life. And this is how I want to live my life. So after debating with a lot of colleges, you know, and not knowing where to go, the second I visited Colombia, I was like, this is the place that I need to be. I know this place is going to give me the resources, the connections, and just the opportunity overall to become an artist and just further my growth with that. And yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience at Columbia? What did you do with your time while you were at the school to ensure your success in your post-grad years?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I started getting on set the second I found out all the process that entailed to get on set at Columbia. So I started doing student films like D2s, D3s, SS1s, all that good stuff when I was a sophomore. And when I found out about all the opportunities that one gets to be on set in Colombia, I was just amazed. You know, that's not something that any other film school in the nation has, you know, and the opportunity to work on film too, like that is unheard of. And it's such a beautiful thing, you know. I really took it upon myself to try to get myself on set as much as I humanly could. Because in this industry, you know, like, yes, we learn in the classroom. Yes, we learn from mentors, but the best way of really learning is going out there and doing it and making your own mistakes and learning from other people, you know, taking what you like about what they do, what you don't like about what they do, and just developing your own form and system with yourself.
Awesome. What were some of your first entry-level positions that you got, professional gigs? How did you get those? When did you start getting those?
Absolutely. My first entry-level position here in Chicago, I was actually a junior in Columbia, and I had just done a D3 where the production designer was really, really nice. And the production designer had just graduated from Columbia actually, and was really good friends with the director. And I was a PA on that set as well. And he like loved my work ethic. He was a big fan of, you know, how helpful and resourceful I was. So a week after, he gave me a call and he was like, I'm working on this furniture commercial and we need PAs. Like, are you free? And I'm like, yes, I'm free. Let's go. What? So that's how it kind of started, you know, like that's the beauty of Columbia sets, is that you get students, you get people that just graduated, you get people that know other people outside, and it's all just word of mouth, and you start building this community.
Right. Yeah. So how did you make yourself stand out in those entry-level positions? You know, how did you continuously get more and more positions?
I think it has a lot to do with the energy and the attitude that you bring to set. You know, like it's very, very important to work hard and like know that everybody around you is also working hard, and being very grateful for the opportunity at all times that you get a chance, you know, being very alert, very attentive, you know, trying to like think on your toes when you have to, asking all the right questions when you need to ask questions. And yeah, just simply making it known that you desire to be there and that you're passionate about what you do, no matter if you're at an entry level position and that's not what you like eventually want to end up doing. Like being a PA, to be completely sincere, guys, is the best way to get on set, because in production you get to really see how everything works. You get to work very closely with like the people that are running the whole show.
Right.
Plus you get to observe other departments. You get to observe how the DP sets up for the shot. You get to observe the conversations between the production designer and the art director. You get to observe wardrobe. You get to really like get a sense of what everybody does and how they do it. And it helps you even find interests that you did not know you had. You know, being a PA is honestly the best way to really learn.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any advice for current students, alumni, anyone honestly in the industry who's trying to make connections with people in the industry? I mean, you just said that you were on The Shy and Shameless and Batwoman. How did you make that? How did you make that happen?
Absolutely. So I would say my number one advice, especially for seniors, especially for people that just graduated, is utilize your resources. You know, like if you're still able to get the opportunity to work on sets while your time at Columbia, you know, like really exercise that and really look up to your mentors. You know, like to this day, I still call David Spodak all the time. I don't know if you guys know him, but he has been a mentor. He is incredible. You know, he's a person that I can call at whatever, like send him a text and be like, David, can you talk? I don't know how to do this. You know, like
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful thing that Columbia gives you the resources that it does, the mentors that it does. And to be completely honest too, guys, your peers are gonna be your ultimate connection. The people in your classroom, the people on that practicum set, the people on that D3 set, on that SS2 set, whatever it is, you know, like you, by working with people and getting to know them and them getting to know you and establishing your work ethic, establishing what your desired position is, what you want to do, and really working hard for it, it's really, really what will bloom for you later on, you know? So whatever connections you currently have with your peers, you know, like further those and nourish those and nurture those, because you never know what's gonna come out of that, you know? Like my first time, the way that I got into the Shameless set is really interesting, actually. So I was ADing a practicum back in 2017. It was called Blood Orange.
Mhm.
And the DP had just recently graduated, but he came back because he always wanted to do a practicum. So a lot of his crew were people that were already working in the industry, you know, and the second AC of the shoot actually like became a really big fan of me, and he was always like complimenting me and like telling me, you know, all these wonderful things, and like he was really wonderful at his job too. So it was just like pure love, pure good energy. And that was a couple months before I graduated, and then I had just graduated, and he gave me a call, and he was like, hey, I'm working on this short film. It's very, very indie. It's a 1 day. It's very low key. The rate is not great. It was a $50 rate, I think it was, you know, but I had just gotten out of school. I just wanted to get out there and learn. You know, any opportunity is an opportunity at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And I ended up saying yes to that gig. And little did I know that the director and the producer of that gig like have high positions on Shameless, on Batwoman, on The Shy, on the Chicago shows. Like they're a part of the production teams in all of those sets, you know, and little did I know, I had no idea. And then a week after we wrapped that, they give me a call and they were like, Shameless is coming to town next week. Are you free? And I'm like, Shameless was my favorite show, still is my favorite show, you know, like it is literally, guys, it is all about who you know and who knows you.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah. So now that you're working professionally and you have these higher level production jobs, what do you look for in resumes when new people are trying to get on set?
Absolutely. To be completely sincere with you, my eyes go directly to the bio, to be completely honest. Like if you have experience, that's awesome, that's great, you know, like that's a plus, but it's not a priority at all. Like especially when I'm looking to form my team personally as an AD, you know, when I'm looking for PAs, when I'm looking for, you know, second ADs, second ADs, you know, it's very important for me to know that you are personable, to know that you're a hard worker, to know that you're resourceful. Um, and yeah, all of that comes from your bio, you know, and if I get a good sense of who you are and what you want to do from that, it's everything I'm looking for, you know. After that, we take it up to a phone call, or you know, we do a Zoom meeting, whatever it is, you know. I give you a sense of like what the production is, and we move forward with that. But yeah, guys, I would say like have very strong bios, you know, let people know what you want to do, that you're a hard worker, and it all just comes together.
Definitely. It's not always business all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are things that people should not do in entry level positions who want to continue being called in for work?
Yes. I'll talk a little bit about what you should and what you should not do.
Yeah.
Number one in this industry, guys. Number one. Time is everything. Time is money. And being on time is being late. In this industry, you know, like being late to a call time is something that rarely gets forgiven, to be completely sincere. And it's hard, guys. It's hard because sometimes your call time is 4:30 a.m. in the morning. You feel me? Or like 1:30 a.m. in the morning or 8 p.m. at night. Like it varies per shoot. It varies per everything, you know. So being on time is very, very important. I would also say that something that gets you on the no-no list is complaining. Everybody's working hard. Everybody has a tough job, you know, and the second a producer like walks by, or an AD walks by, or a director walks by and hears you complaining, that's instantly like, this person doesn't really want to be here, you know?
Yeah.
So just showing gratefulness every opportunity that you have, is something that is very, very important. Um, it's important to watch your language too, everyone. You're in a professional environment, and especially if you're working with A-list talent, or if you're in a commercial with a brand or anything like that, it's just very important to choose your words wisely and also know when to speak and when to not speak. That's also a big thing. And that usually comes from social cues, you know, like you can read the room in that sort of way.
Mhm.
This might sound silly, guys, but this is very important. Learning how to read a call sheet is crucial, 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 crucial. I remember one time, my first day on the chai, actually, that was shortly after Shameless.
Mhm.
And I remember I was the first team PA, which is the person that sticks with the talent and makes sure they go from wardrobe to makeup, from makeup to sound, from sound to set, all that good stuff. And I remember the first AD telling me, no, the second AD, sorry, the second AD telling me, like, make sure you greet this person when they arrive. And I asked them, oh, when are they supposed to arrive? And it was like a silly question, but she did not talk to me for the rest of the day.
On the call sheet.
It's on the call sheet. It's on the call sheet. So that's something I always like emphasizing to people, you know, and they can be confusing sometimes, guys. There's so much information in them. But that's exactly the reason, you know, it tells you everything. It tells you where parking's gonna be, where the set's gonna be. A lot of times it tells you the times from where you'll be shooting this thing to this thing. It tells you the whole name of the cast and the crew too, which is very important. It's important to know who's there with you. It's important to know who's going to be coming in, all that good stuff. So very important. Learn to read a call sheet. Very important. I would also say asking questions, guys. Whenever you don't know something, immediately go to your boss or go to one of your peers that are on your same level. You know, like, don't be scared. It's much better to ask something than move forward with uncertainty and do it wrong, and then something can happen about that, you know?
Yeah.
Anytime that you have a doubt about anything, ask questions, but also remember to be very alert, because maybe that question that you have in your mind has already been answered before, or it's on the call sheet, or it's on another piece of paperwork that you were giving, anything like that. So just being very alert and very on point with that. Especially for the PA position too, come prepared. Come with pens, come with highlighters, come with Sharpies. If you're able to get a headset, they're very cheap. You can buy them on Best Buy or Walmart, or they sell it at any tech store, you know. They're the things that you attach to your walkie-talkie. They are very, very crucial to have your own, also in this era of not trying to spread germs. And always keep extra walkie batteries on you. That's also a pro tip right there.
Mhm.
If you're working on a narrative, have sides on you, have extra call sheets on you, because it can go a long way when the director's walking by and they lost their sides and they're like, who has sides? And you're that person bringing them the sides, you know. They're going to remember your face and they're going to remember your name. And yeah, it's the little things, guys. It's the attention to detail that is so, so crucial. And also try to be a sponge, everybody. Like, every set, this is a never ending learning process. It's so beautiful. What we do is so, so beautiful. We get to have a new office every day. We get to work with different people every day, and we're going to be learning something new every day. My dad has been a DP for 50 years, and he still tells me he learns new stuff on every set. And that's crazy to think about, but that's the beauty of it, you know, and you got to be open and receptive to that. And as I said before too, it's taking from what you observe and from what you learn, like take with you what works. And you're also going to see things that don't work. You're also going to see people working in ways that don't really resonate with you. And it's very important for our generation to be very aware of that, because we're here to change things. We're changing the industry like crazy. We are setting new standards. We are setting new guidelines. We are creating a safer and more comfortable space for the crew, for the cast, for everybody involved. So that comes with that. And I would say overall, guys, and this is one that it takes everyone like a long time to get there personally. This is more on a personal level. Never operate out of stress or guilt or shame. That is crucial, guys. Like there's a lot of times where we make mistakes and we instantly get in this mindset of like, oh my God, I messed up. They're never going to call me again. Nobody's going to talk to me on set again. Like it's really easy to get in your head. You know, there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of energies floating around. And it's very important whenever you make a mistake, whenever you feel stressed, never allow your actions to be fueled by that. You know, like remind yourself that you've worked hard to get to the point where you are, and remind yourself that you're worthy of being where you are as well. And mistakes happen all the time, especially in productions. There's so many moving parts, you know, like sometimes it happens and it's nobody's fault and it all happens for a reason. And it's just very important for you guys to continue to remind yourselves that you're going to operate out of your artistry and out of your craft and out of the love that you have for what you do.
Definitely. So you've worked on a wide range of different projects, from like commercials to music videos to narrative stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about the difference in environment and the difference in how production runs and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So with narratives, I would say narratives are, they're all my favorite. What am I saying? I love working on all of them. But narratives have a real magic to them because there is a script that everybody's following, and there's usually more pre-production involved in narratives as well, having it be a short or a feature or a pilot or a TV series or a web series or whatever it is. There you can sense and you can feel the dedication and the preparation from all departments, you know, and usually like all of the department heads and a lot of their crew are a part of that pre-production process as well. So in narratives, the main difference is that you're all following a script and you are all following the lead of whatever your department head is, or if you are the department head, you're establishing the lead on that. And that's something very beautiful, you know, because with music videos, for example, you're literally making a song come to life. And like the only true structure that you have is the director treatment or the artist treatment or the combination of the two, where they're putting on paper like what their ideas are. But the beautiful thing about music videos is that there's always room for creativity, you know, like you have a song, the song is your blueprint, you know, and you can make anything happen out of that. And that's a really beautiful thing. Also with music videos, it's interesting because you are not just making a writer's dream go from paper to screen. You're not just making a director's dream go from paper to screen. Like there's an artist that has probably been working for years before they were able to like actually get this team that you are a part of to, you know, elevate their music and their career to do so. And yeah, music videos are wonderful. Music videos are really like a really cool thing. And with commercials, you know, like the difference with commercials is you have the brand, you have the client, you know, whatever brand it is. And then you have the agency, which is essentially who hires the production company to come in and make it all happen. So there's a few more layers going on with that. And there's a magic to that too, especially as an AD, you know, like your job is to communicate with everybody and make it as efficient and respectful and smooth as possible. So yeah, there you're working for like a brand, and you know that like people are gonna see it on their TVs, people are gonna see it on billboards, people are gonna see it, you know, on ads on YouTube or Hulu or whatever it is. And that's also a really wonderful thing. Every single medium of what we do brings its own magic to it. And it's really cool.
Definitely. So as a first AD, what would you define the role of the first AD on set? And what are some of the best practices that you always do?
Absolutely. As a first AD, you know, your job is to run the set. But above running the set, your job is also to provide a safe environment for your crew and your cast, and with the cast, providing them a sacred space as well. You know, like people sometimes oversee this, but actors get themselves into very vulnerable places in order to give the performances that they give. You know, like little do people know watching it at home that there's 20 people hiding in the corners, you know, like making sure that the camera doesn't see them. So yeah, it's really important to provide your cast and your crew with a safe space all around, and a space where they can create freely, and a space where they can communicate freely. And as the first AD, you set that standard, you know, like everybody follows your suit and your lead. You're in charge of the dynamic of the set. You're in charge of the communication amongst department heads, you know, like the title itself says it, you know, assistant director. You're there to assist your director in making their vision come to life, you know, and that comes with a lot of organization, that comes with a lot of transparency, that comes with people skills, to be honest, because you're going to be constantly talking to people all the time, every day, no matter what. One of my best practices, I would say, is I make sure that my crew feels heard, and I make sure that people feel that they are in a space where they can speak their minds and they can give their creative ideas, and that they are all aware of what's happening at all times too. You know, like the second there's confusion on a set, that can resonate back to you. So it's very important to be very transparent with your crew, about time, about the shots, about whatever, you know, if there's a storm coming, you know, like you get together with your department heads, you figure out a game plan, you communicate it to the crew. You know, you are that person. You are the person leading the team. And, you know, and part of making them informed, you know, something that I really like doing, every AD works different too, guys. Like every AD shapes their own way, shapes their own journey, and does their own thing. But something that I really like doing is creating shooting schedules every day and putting the times for what each scene is going to be taking place, each shot is going to be taking place. So everybody's very aware, and you get to have the support from your team as well, because you are carrying the set, but it takes a village, guys. It takes a village to make movies come to life. And yeah, just carrying, you know, personally, I like to carry my sets with a lot of love and a lot of respect. There's a lot of ADs out there who just care about the time and getting the shots and getting in and getting out. And there's more to that. There's more to that, everybody. Like, you're the person that's there facilitating for everybody to do their craft. And it's really important for the AD and the AD department themselves to treat that with respect, to treat that with love. And yeah, the best results come out of that, to be honest.
Really, yeah, you really just set the tone, the environment, so you want to make sure that you do it in a positive way. Yeah. So obviously one of the main things ADs do is their safety. Safety is a number one thing. And, you know, now, elephant in the room, a lot of things are changing in terms of safety. So how has the AD department changed in now this COVID era?
You said it, Anthony. You know, like safety has always been number one for our department. And this is just an additional challenge that we are facing, you know, and another mountain to surpass, because every set has their own safety parameters to take into account, you know, and it's always going to be different. And with this one in specifically, you know, with having a pandemic going on, it is crucial for the set to be run properly, and for there to be guidelines and protocols for the cast and the crew to follow. And that comes with support. You know, all the sets that I've been doing lately, I've had 4 productions since phase 4 in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago started. And that support comes with having a safety coordinator on set. That is a new position. That is something that has just been created, you know, and it's following the LA industry standards. And having that safety coordinator there, I think, brings a lot of mental peace to everybody and just comfort knowing that there's somebody there whose sole job is to take care of you and to make sure that all of the guidelines that have been established are being employed, right? So to go by it on timeline, right? So during pre-production, everything has been done remotely. So it's Zoom calls, it's conference calls, it's emails, it's a lot of not in person, whatever you can tackle, you know. There's certain things that do need to be in person, like location scouts and tech scouts and wardrobe fittings and test shoots if you're having one. And for that, you know, I've personally been workshopping a set of safety guidelines based on what the DGA has sent out, the PGA has sent out, SAG has sent out, a bunch of production companies from the Big Seven in Chicago, in LA have also sent out. And they're all resources that are very easy to Google, guys, and you can access them very, very easily. Even on the Chicago Film Office website, they're up there too. But something that has been a huge, huge priority for us has been for everybody on the set to get tested and sending in their results 24 to 48 hours prior of principal photography. That has been huge too, you know, like having the security that everybody that's with you on this film set has been tested negative. Also, I feel like takes a huge weight off everybody's shoulders. We want to make sure that everybody's safe. We want to make sure that everybody's able to work properly and safely. So the test results are a requirement, no matter if they're cast, if they are a department head, if they are just crew under the line, it doesn't matter, you know, like everybody's safety come first and no project is worth putting anybody at risk. So yeah, that has been a huge one as well. In terms of how the day runs, you know, there's been temp checks during the morning, during lunch, and during wrap. And that safety coordinator really helps, has been, you know, all the safety coordinators I've worked with lately have been a huge help, you know, because as I run the set, I don't have to worry because I know that they're making sure they communicate to the crew, you know, like, okay, we have some downtime. There's a time to disinfect the gear. We are moving from the kitchen to the living room. We're going to disinfect the gear. They go around with hand sanitizer for everybody. I make sure that I allot enough time in the schedule for, you know, the disinfecting process to happen. For people to have staggered lunches when it's available. That is a little bit more of a tricky one, but still providing people with options where they can social distance during lunch and where they can social distance during the set itself. You know, it's been a lot of shooting exteriors, which I think is really great. You all know summertime chai is the best time. So that has been really great. And yeah, just sticking with your department, you know, like making sure you're not cross-contaminating. With makeup, wardrobe, and sound at the AD department, you know, we're the people that talk the most to talent. And, you know, taking care of talent is a huge priority because they unfortunately need to be exposed when they're on camera, you know, so making sure that we all keep a proper safe distance from them. And yeah, there's a bunch of guidelines, but these are like the top ones that come to mind right now. But yeah, it's been great. It can be done, guys. It can be done. We can still continue to do our craft. Obviously, smaller crews too. Like this is no longer a situation where we can have 100-person crew or have a scene with 50 extras in a nightclub. You know, like it comes down to really choosing wisely what your content is for the moment and really choosing wisely how you're gonna do it. But it is possible, guys. Like I don't want anybody to feel discouraged over, you know, the pandemic kind of making a small dent on the jobs coming in and out of Chicago right now. I think the industry is in a very good place right now. Out of all the cities in the entire United States, Chicago has the most strict protocols when it comes to COVID, which is a wonderful thing because it shows you that the film office and that the productions that are on top right now and the production companies and everybody running productions right now take this very seriously because we have to, you know, and again, no production is worth risking anybody's well-being. So yeah, don't be discouraged, guys. This can be done. There's ways of doing it safely and well. And yeah,
Definitely putting safety over the schedule. Over
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for, talking to me, rekindling with me, Sarah. Those are all the questions that I had. So thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it over to Chaka to see if we have some good questions in the Q&A.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much. A lot of the questions that we have were just addressed in the flow of your conversation, but I will start at the top. So Ashanti, producer, would like more specifically, Sarah, for you to talk about your experience transitioning from educational production work to real world experience.
It was a lot of trial and error. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of accepting a gig and maybe not feeling fully prepared, like within myself to do it, but taking that leap of faith and taking that chance on myself and, using my resources, calling David Spodak, calling other friends that I know have been doing it for longer than I have. And again, this industry is full of learning moments, and that transition, I was lucky enough and blessed enough to really take those leaps of faith while I was still in school. So that way, when I graduated, I already had opportunities, like, I don't want to say lined up, but I was more open and more receptive to opportunities because I kind of took a head start and took that leap of faith. And it's all about just stepping out of your comfort zone and taking the leap.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The city is alive, as you can hear in the background. But we have a question from Emerson Cole. Emerson, I am a first AD on a feature film and TV show now, and it's my first time being on a large production like that. Congratulations, Emerson.
That's awesome.
What is the best advice to being thrown into that? How different is it on shorts?
The only difference from shorts to features in TV shows is the page count and the day quantity that you're going to be on set. So congratulations for getting there. That's really, really incredible. You should be really proud. I would say, there's going to be more elements to being on a feature or on a pilot or on a TV show than it is from a short, but it is essentially the same. You're still running a set. It doesn't matter if you have a 5-person crew, if you have a 50-person crew, your job is still the same. It will definitely take more preparation during pre-pro. I would recommend have a strong team by your side. Make sure that you get a great second AD who you trust and that can be handling the next day while you're dealing with on the day. Make sure you get a team of strong PAs because PAs are the backbone of any production and they fall under your team and they follow your lead as well. And just make sure that the tone with the department heads is set before you step onto set, like make sure that you are giving yourself the proper time and opening up the proper communication channels with your team so that you guys are all in unison and you guys are all on the same page by the time you step on set. With big productions like this, there's so much going on that sometimes it's hard to keep track. So like maybe create different meetings, like have a one-on-one with wardrobe and the director, have a one-on-one with art department and the director, whatever it is. Stick very closely to your director and your DP, especially during the shot list process. The more in tune you are with them and all of your department heads, honestly, like it's very important for you to know what their plan is so you can enter that cohesively and communicate that cohesively while on set.
Great, thank you so much. So we have a follow-up question from Emerson. What are some red flags you notice when you are getting offered jobs?
Oof, that's a good question. Whenever people don't want to disclose too much about the production, especially if you're being interviewed as an AD. That is a bit of a red flag. You know, because sometimes they're not disclosing enough information because they don't fully have their stuff together, and that they just want to throw you in so you figure it out for them. And that's not how it works. You know, like, it takes a village, and you need to be able to be informed in order for you to make informed decisions, and in order for you to lead the set in a proper way. I would say there needs to be respect from that initial approach. You know, like, anytime I get you know, an inquiry about being a part of somebody's team, you know, like, we can start talking through email, but I need to get on a phone call with you. You know, I'm going to be spending days and nights with you as a director or as a producer or whatever it is. It's very important for you to get a full sense of who they are, and it's very important to be transparent with them about what your boundaries are, in a sense, too, you know, because there's a lot of people that want to make a lot happen with very little time and very little money, and that puts you in a spot, and then you end up being the bad guy at the end of the day, which is not fair. So I would say, you know, when that first initial introduction happens and you get to hop on the phone or hop on a Zoom call or whatever, make sure that you ask all of the questions that you need to ask. And if any of the answers seem iffy to you, respectfully decline. You know, like, you also got to have a lot of self-respect on this job. And, like, I've learned that to trial and error. And I would love for, you know, anybody that I can help avoid, you know, being a part of a bad production. I would love that. So, so yeah, just be very aware of who you choose to work with, you know, and anything that feels or sees like a red flag to you, then it probably is.
Great, thank you so much. Next question is from Derek Gavlin. He missed what you said about bios on resumes. Can you reiterate what you said about the importance of the bio on the resume?
Yes, absolutely. So on resumes, and in your LinkedIn and any other type of working platform that you have, it is crucial for you to really lay yourself on paper when it comes to your bio, you know, because I was mentioning how experience is a plus, you know, like, if you do have experience, that's great, but you might also be one of the best people to hire with no experience, you know, like, people like me and a lot of other ADs and producers out there, like, we're looking for people that want to learn, that are passionate, that are hard workers. And your experience doesn't tell me that. What tells me that is what you put in your bio, you know, and making it personable and making it very true to yourself, you know, just being yourself is the best way to really get out there and do your thing, and for people to see you for who you are, and for you to end up in the right productions for you as well, you know, because different projects suit different people better too. That is a thing as well. So yeah, just try to be very sincere and very truthful when you write in your bio, because that's what everybody's going to look to immediately.
Awesome, awesome. So Helena H, pronoun she, her, would like to know what current or future projects that you are at liberty to speak on are you excited about?
Oh my God. So many, guys. This is the beauty of quarantine too, is that everybody has been writing and everybody has been working on pre-pro. So there's a lot of stuff, you know, like, currently in the works for me personally. I just wrapped on a pilot last week, which I'm not in liberty to discuss too much about it, but we just finished the pilot, and there is a very, very high chance probability that we're going to be starting to write the season like next week, because eyes are already on it. And it's a very beautiful project. You know, it's all about Black lives and about, you know, the beauty and the artistry of that has been awakened during quarantine as well. And I'm really excited for that project specifically, but I'm very excited also for everybody, for everything that's to come too, guys. I think this next couple of months are going to be a big creative rebirth and a lot of new projects are going to be popping up, and everybody's going to be ready to get back on the grind. So I'm excited for that.
Very cool. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. We have a question from Luau. What are some of the challenges of being the intermediate between the departments? And I'm going to raise the stakes on that question and ask what some of the unique challenges post-COVID are.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Certainly. What are some of the challenges of being the intermediate between the departments?
Oof, there are challenges. There are definitely challenges, you know, like on set, you are the mediator between everybody, you know, you're the facilitator between everybody. And it's crucial to have open communication, and it's crucial to also get those department heads to talk together as well, you know, because you're there to be like the connector in a way, but there's also instances where certain things need to be spoken with the creative heads directly, right? So I would say dealing with personalities too can be difficult at times. So you just always got to remember to be the bigger person, and you always got to remember that you're here for a higher goal. And also we work very long hours on very stressful scenarios at times too. So just being very sensitive to that and respectful of that, and trying to carry the conversation as openly and respectfully as you can.
Thank you. Thank you. Ashanti, producer, has another question. As someone who will be a first-time key PA on an indie shoot, what are departmental pet peeves to be aware of from your personal experience?
Okay, this is a good one. So as the key PA, it's a great position to have. It's a really, really good position to have, because you get to work very, very closely with the ADs, you know, especially with the second, especially with the second, and especially with the first, you know, like you are their right hand, which, you know, you're crucial to the equation. I would say to utilize the support from your team. Never feel that just because you have the title of being the key PA that you need to handle all of that by yourself, you know, like delegate properly. And whenever you're at a spot where you don't know what to delegate to who, talk to your bosses. They'll help you navigate through that as well. But, you know, the QPA has a big responsibility, and you carry your team with your ADs. So just making sure that you're delegating, making sure that you're not putting way too much on yourself, and that anticipating is a big thing about being a key PA as well. You know, like if you know that the next scene after this one, you're going to need to have all the background cars set up for this next scene, you know, like start working on that when you get a hot second, like anticipating as you go. You know, it's always killing two birds with one stone, setting up, shooting. And that's a big responsibility of the key PA. So I would say, yeah, try to keep eyes on that, and use your team. They're there for you. You're there for them. You know, try to establish that that dynamic with them since the very beginning. Whenever I keep PA or second AD, I always love having talks with my team at the beginning of the day, even when I first AD, at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, and just having those powwows with them, you know, and figuring out what we could have been better at, what we did really well. You know, keep your communication open, and everything will go well.
Awesome. We have 5 more minutes and quite a few more questions. So we have Emerson again wants to know, as someone who works in Chicago, do you ever plan on moving to LA or New York?
I don't, actually. I love
Yay.
Chicago, guys. Chicago is where it's at. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've gone to LA and to New York to work before, you know, like I fly there occasionally to work. And the energy that you have in Chicago, and the community that you have in Chicago, and the stories coming out of Chicago is like nothing you're gonna find in LA and New York. And no tea, no shade to anybody that's going to LA or New York. Do your thing. Absolutely. Good for you. But Chicago has a very special place in my heart. This is where I started. And I don't think I'm going anywhere until I feel fully fulfilled and that I've taken out all the juice and that I've experienced everything I want to experience here.
Indeed, and you don't need to move to the coast, as Saró has proven. Um, indeed, indeed. So we have an anonymous attendee that wanted to know if we could stay connected with you via social media, and if so, how?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My at is underscore sensational. You can find me there. You can find me on Facebook through my name, through LinkedIn, through whatever you want. I'm everywhere.
Very cool, very cool. Let's see, we're coming down to the wire, so let me see if there are some questions that would be relatively quick to answer. So yeah, you answered that. Thank you kindly. Let's see. Were there any ADs that you learned from or really influenced by? And if you don't want to like name them, that's fine, but maybe just to Emerson's question, talking about working with a first AD or working in an AD department that really informed and shaped how you work.
Absolutely. So one of the ADs from Shameless, her name is Andrea Block, and she is incredible. She is really, really good. And when I first saw her in action, I was like, I need to learn more from you. She was really, really good. There's another Chicago AD called Norman Picorni, who is incredible, and I've gotten the chance to work very closely with him in indie productions. I first met him on Batwoman, and I was amazed, and then I got the chance to work with him on an indie and got to work closely with him. He was really great. There's another Chicago AD called Pollyann Matson, and she's actually from Puerto Rico too, and I've gotten a chance to work with her too. And yeah, with all of these ADs, guys, like whenever you feel inspired by an AD, go tell them, because that's going to make their whole day. And whatever, if you let it be known to them, they'll actually take the time to teach you things, you know, like I remember during quarantine, I was watching Money Heist. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it's so good. And every time I watch it, every episode, I'm like, oh my God, the ADs are incredible. Like making this happen, all these stunts, all these props, all these background, like the whole shebang. And I remember at the end, I like watched the credits and like waited for the AD's names to pop up. And I found them on Instagram and just like sent them a message like, I love your work. Like, you're so incredible. You're such an inspiration. And now we like talk, you know, now we ask each other, like, how's your day going? You know, and like, it's all about taking that leap of faith and letting people know. And whatever shows you watch or movies that you watch that you really like, you're fascinated and you're like thinking like, how did the AD make this happen? Try to find their IMDb, try to find their LinkedIn. Like literally you lose nothing with trying. Yeah.
Money Heist is so good.
Awesome.
So good.
Awesome. Well, and with a minute to spare, so very quickly, I just want to thank you, Saró, so much. You're absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Anthony, for your thoughtful questions and preparation. I also want to shout out a few other people and departments. Quinn, my right hand, you can't see Quinn, but Quinn is there for being such a great partner on the Free Film School series. Also, Sandy Cooperson from the Cinema and Television Arts Department, as well as Eric Scholl. They've been amazing to work with. Karen Luke from the Semester in LA program. Sharon Schroeder from the Alumni LA office. And then also my Career Center colleagues. Really, really appreciate you all so much. I want to also plug some other events we have happening. I'm dropping them in the chat. So tomorrow we have Careers in Sound Design with 3 alumni panelists. So we have a student and an alumni registration link. We also want to thank all of the alums that are in the house. And we also have 2 acting related programs next week, because we know that you all are still doing productions and you're trying to figure out how to still audition post-COVID and how to still pick actors post-COVID. Well, we have 2 sessions that are designed just for you next week. One is on the 5th and the other one is on the 6th. They are on the chat. But be sure to tune in for more summer build-up events, to tune in to the Career Center, to the Cinema and Television Arts Department, CELA semester in LA. We're all here to make sure that, like Saró, in 2 years, we can call you up and be like, what you doing? You're working like crazy.
All
Can
day.
you come back? Yes, absolutely. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for everyone who had a question that I didn't get to. I'll take them in and see if it hasn't been answered already, to follow up with you via email. And just have an amazing night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Peace.